Welcome to Wisdom to Freedom, the channel dedicated to exploring the deepest truths of our existence. In this episode, we will delve into the profound exploration of the mind, its nature, its significance, and its potential to both cause suffering and lead to liberation. The mind is a complex and multifaceted concept that refers to the cognitive and intellectual faculties of an individual, including processes such as perception, thought, consciousness, and reasoning. It encompasses our ability to process information, make decisions, and experience subjective phenomena. The concept of the mind has been explored by various spiritual traditions and philosophical schools of thought. In Stoicism, philosophers such as Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius emphasize the importance of recognizing and controlling one's thoughts. They believe that our thoughts and judgments are within our control, while external events and circumstances are not. By understanding this distinction and aligning our thoughts with reason and virtue, we can cultivate inner tranquility and overcome suffering. Stoicism teaches that suffering arises not from external events themselves, but from our judgments and reactions to them. By practicing self-awareness and examining our thoughts, we can identify irrational beliefs and replace them with more rational and virtuous ones. This practice of cognitive reframing allows individuals to cultivate equanimity and find peace even in the face of adversity. Buddhist philosophy teaches that suffering arises from attachment and craving, which are products of the mind. The mind constantly seeks pleasure, avoids pain, and clings to transient experiences, leading to a cycle of dissatisfaction and suffering. The practice of meditation and mindfulness is central to Buddhism. By observing the mind's activities and developing insight into its transient nature, individuals can cultivate awareness and detach from the incessant stream of thoughts and desires. Through this practice, one can experience a state of liberation known as enlightenment or nirvana, which is characterized by the cessation of suffering. In Advaita Vedanta, the mind is seen as a tool of perception and experience, but it is not considered the true essence of our being. The teachings of Advaita Vedanta aim to lead individuals to the realization of their underlying unity with the ultimate reality, often referred to as Brahman. According to Advaita Vedanta, the mind creates a sense of separation and duality through its identification with thoughts, emotions, and the ego. By transcending the limited identification with the mind and realizing the underlying unity of all existence, individuals can experience liberation and profound spiritual awakening. Existentialist thinkers, such as Jean-Paul Sartre, Friedrich Nietzsche, and Albert Camus, explored the complexities of the human mind and the challenges of personal freedom. Existentialism emphasizes the individual's responsibility for creating meaning in life and making authentic choices. It recognizes the existential anxieties and dilemmas that arise from the human condition, such as the fear of death, the search for purpose, and the experience of existential loneliness. Existentialists encourage self-reflection, confronting existential questions, and taking responsibility for one's choices as a means of finding personal freedom and living a meaningful life. While the mind is a remarkable and powerful aspect of human existence, it can also be limiting in certain ways. Here are a few ways in which the mind can be limiting. Cognitive biases. The mind is prone to various cognitive biases, which are systematic patterns of thinking that can lead to errors in judgment or decision-making. These biases can distort our perception of reality and limit our ability to consider alternative perspectives or possibilities. Conditioning and belief systems. Our minds are shaped by our upbringing, cultural influences, and personal experiences, which can create deeply ingrained belief systems. These beliefs can act as filters through which we interpret new information, potentially limiting our openness to new ideas or alternative viewpoints. Limited processing capacity. The human mind has finite processing capacity, which means it can only handle a certain amount of information at a given time. This limitation can result in selective attention and memory biases, where we focus on and remember only specific aspects of our experiences, potentially overlooking or forgetting important details. Emotional influences. Emotions play a significant role in shaping our thoughts and behaviors. While emotions provide valuable insights and motivations, they can also cloud our judgment or lead to impulsive decision-making, limiting our ability to think rationally or objectively. Self-imposed limitations. Individuals often impose limitations on themselves due to factors such as self-doubt, fear of failure, or a fixed mindset. These self-imposed limitations can restrict personal growth, hinder creativity, and prevent individuals from reaching their full potential. So how the mind become a source of suffering? Suffering can arise from various sources, and the mind can play a significant role in both amplifying and mitigating that suffering. Here are a few reasons why our minds can contribute to our suffering. Negative thought patterns. The mind has a tendency to generate negative thoughts, worry about the future, ruminate on past events, or engage in self-critical thinking. These thought patterns can create feelings of anxiety, stress, sadness, and discontent, leading to emotional suffering. Attachment and resistance. The mind often forms attachments to desired outcomes or experiences and resists unwanted or unpleasant ones. This attachment and resistance can lead to disappointment, frustration, and suffering when things don't go as expected or when we cling to situations or relationships that are causing harm or no longer serve us. Identification with thoughts and emotions. We often identify ourselves with our thoughts and emotions, believing them to be an accurate reflection of who we are. This identification can lead to suffering when we experience negative thoughts or emotions, as we may internalize them and perceive them as personal failures or flaws. Judgment and comparison. The mind has a tendency to judge and compare ourselves to others, leading to feelings of inadequacy, envy, or self-criticism. Constantly comparing ourselves to others or judging ourselves harshly can contribute to suffering and a diminished sense of self-worth. Overthinking and overanalyzing. The mind has a tendency to excessively analyze and overthink situations, which can lead to increased stress, indecisiveness, and mental exhaustion. Constantly dwelling on past events or worrying about the future can prevent us from fully engaging with the present moment and experiencing contentment. Now, let's explore how we can transcend and detach from the mind, opening the doors to freedom and liberation. Transcending the mind and reducing its control over our lives is a journey that requires practice and self-awareness. While it may not be possible to completely eliminate the mind's influence, the following practices can help you develop a healthier relationship with your mind and reduce its dominance. Mindfulness meditation. Regular mindfulness meditation is a powerful tool for cultivating present moment awareness and observing the activities of the mind without judgment. By practicing non-reactivity to thoughts and emotions, you can develop a greater sense of detachment from them and reduce their control over your actions and well-being. Self-inquiry and reflection. Engaging in self-inquiry and reflective practices can help you gain insight into the patterns, beliefs, and conditioning of your mind. By questioning your thoughts and beliefs, you can challenge their validity and reduce their influence over your perceptions and actions. Embracing the observer perspective. Cultivate the ability to step back and observe your thoughts and emotions as if you were an impartial observer. Instead of getting caught up in the content of your thoughts, maintain a sense of detachment and recognize that you are not your thoughts. This perspective can help create distance and reduce the mind's control over your reactions. Embracing the present moment. The mind often dwells in the past or worries about the future, which can lead to unnecessary suffering. By consciously bringing your attention to the present moment and engaging fully in what you are doing, you can reduce the mind's tendency to wander and ruminate. Cultivating acceptance and letting go, practice accepting your thoughts and emotions without resistance or judgment. Recognize that thoughts are transient mental events and do not define your identity. Additionally, develop the ability to let go of thoughts that are unhelpful or detrimental, allowing them to pass without giving them undue attention or significance. Engaging in activities that quiet the mind, activities such as yoga, tai chi, nature walks, creative pursuits, or any form of focused, immersive activity can help quiet the mind and bring about a sense of calm and presence. By regularly engaging in such activities, you can train your mind to be less intrusive and more at ease. It's important to note that the mind itself is not inherently negative or something to be rejected. It is a valuable tool for navigating the world and engaging in intellectual pursuits. However, when we become excessively identified with the mind and its incessant stream of thoughts, it can lead to suffering and limitation. By developing a conscious relationship with the mind and employing these practices, we can transcend its limitations, find liberation from suffering, and discover a deeper sense of freedom and inner peace. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Wisdom to Freedom. We hope that exploring the teachings on detachment from the body has offered you insights and inspiration on your spiritual journey. Remember, as we detach from the body, we embrace our true essence and find liberation from the suffering that arises from attachment. If you liked the video, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. We would love to hear from you. Until next time, may you find peace, wisdom, and freedom on your path.